Good afternoon and good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday live broadcast in our Thrive and Edu community. My name is Melody McAllister, and I'm here with the incredible Rachelle Pope. And we know it's back to school today for many of our friends, so we wish you well this week, and of course in the following weeks too. Drop a comment and let us know how you're doing, whether you're back to school or still enjoying your break. Rachelle and I will be welcoming educator and man of many talents and accomplishments in the education world, Joshua Stamper. He'll be up very soon. But until he comes up, Rachelle, how are you? I see that you're presenting in the ISTE Summer Learning Academy as a featured expert. So congratulations and fill us in on the latest.
Yeah, so it's good to see you. I don't know, when did I last talk to you? Was it last week? I'm not sure, but
it was Friday. I feel like it was Friday.
Yeah, I think it was Friday. It was Friday, but Friday feels like forever ago. There have been a lot of things happening, a lot of 3 more weeks till school starts, and the ISTE Summer Learning Academy kicked off today, and I do have a session for that. Like, thrilled and honored to have a session for that next Monday afternoon. But on Friday, I have 4 presentations for an event called Technovate, which I'm really looking forward to because it's under the theme of Napoleon Dynamite. And Carl Hooker, one of our former guests and friends, got a group of us and we're presenting. And so when you put the proposal in, it had to be with a theme of, Napoleon Dynamite. So I had to freshen up on that a little bit. So it's like, yeah, it's fun. So lots of things going on, but it's good.
How do we get it? I want to see that. Like, that sounds really great. How do we get to see the Technovate panel?
I know. Because the names, like trying to come up with something on like augmented reality, I was like, it was something about skills, I don't know, but I came up with a few, but there are some really good ones. So looking forward to all of the learning this week.
Yeah. Is that part of the ISTE Summer Learning Academy?
No, it's just a busy couple of days for me.
Oh, wow. No, I'm serious. Like, I want to see that panel. That just sounds amazing. And I think that you are paired nicely with that because you know how to match education and innovation, like, better than most people. But yeah, so it's been good. And so how was your weekend?
I was thinking about that not long before we started talking. I thought, wait, it was the weekend? So I did go out to eat with my parents. So that was very nice to go out with them and spend some time relaxing. So how about you? I know you were busy, super busy.
Yeah, all I'm doing is packing. This is probably the last time that I'll be in this wonderful room with all the dark doors. And we're packing and we're getting ready to leave this house. So that's all we're doing. And once I get off here, I'll be packing and packing. It just is like a never ending. Moving really stinks. And I never want to move again.
Nope.
So I'll probably be in Alaska forever.
Perhaps.
But yeah, or I'm just going to be like, I'm going to sell everything. I'm not going to take anything. Like, I'll just take my personal items. That's it. Because I hate packing. I'm not organized. I'm a terrible packer. But anyway, enough of that. It's just a temporary problem. Do you want to introduce our amazing guest?
Yeah. So I got to meet Josh, and I think it was at the Teach Better conference, I think, but I could be mistaken. But anyway, it's so nice when you actually get to meet somebody in person and have conversations. But he is like everywhere. He's doing so much. He has his own podcast. He's involved with Teach Better. He's writing a book. He's been in education for a long time. I don't like to count how many years, but he has done a lot in education. So I am very excited to have him here with us today to hear about all of the amazing things that he's involved in and learn and take some notes from how he manages to balance all of it. So good to have you today.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's an honor to speak with 2 amazing educators and leaders like yourselves.
Thanks. So Josh, tell us, and I love it that you're like I've spent a lot of time in North Texas. I lived half of my life there. And like you, I am not a Dallas fan. So I love that about you. Immediately we bonded. But tell us what's going on with like everything, your book that's coming out with EduMatch for all EduMatch authors. Tell us the latest about you.
Oh, it's such a blessing to be with EduMatch and Sarah Thomas. She's amazing, as you all know. My book is coming out this fall, hopefully in September here, Aspire to Lead. And it's really a manifesto of my journey as an art teacher to administrator and just some actionable steps and really my downfalls too. As a teacher trying to become a leader in a school, as you both know, that's a difficult thing. And especially as an elective teacher, I really had to prove myself. And so I have a lot of stories in there of failures and how to kind of maneuver around those. So that way those who are reading can hopefully have a smoother journey to their educational goals that they have. So It's really a book for any educator. I truly believe that all educators are leaders. And so that's really the premise of the book. So no matter where you are in your educational journey, hopefully this will be a opportunity for you to get to that next level, whatever it may be. And then as far as...
And what is...
Oh, go ahead.
What is the title going to be again? I can't remember. You probably
Aspire
said it.
to Lead.
Okay, it is Aspire to Lead. Okay.
Yep. And so I have some authors in there.
It's got your whole hashtag.
Some authors in there also. So I have some additional resources, some discussion questions, and then inserts in there from those folks. But then also I have, QR codes in the book for additional resources from the podcast. So of course, my podcast is Aspire Leadership Development Podcast, and have a lot of folks on there that are just trying to help other educators to, like I said, get to that next level.
That is awesome. And I am dropping your latest podcast right now with Tracy Browder. How did that go?
Tracy's amazing. She's fantastic. She's also a Texas educator, and we just really talked about equity and inclusion, and she's just a wealth of information. And I really enjoyed her. I could have probably talked to her for 3 hours and it would have felt like 5 minutes. She's just one of those people that, once you get in the groove of things, she's just putting out so much amazing content. And so, for anyone that's, watching right now, if you want to be inspired, definitely check out Tracy Browder.
Yeah. She is amazing. And I could totally feel it. Yes, I know that feeling. Sorry, I know I'm cutting you off, Rachelle.
It's totally fine. But I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask, and before I forget. So you're writing the book, and I know that you had signed. I remember seeing the post, which is crazy because I feel like it was almost about a year ago that you had signed. And I was like, that's awesome. But you had already been doing your podcast and you have been blogging. And so I'm wondering, because I do a lot of those, we all do all those same kind of things, but which one came first for you? Like, did you start blogging first, or, how did you, because a lot of people like Tim Cavey does the roundtable, and he's had a lot of great discussions. He looked at Mel and I's blog at one point, and we're looking at blog sites, and then trying to get people encouraged to start blogging because you don't know where to begin, or podcasts where I joke, I'm like, my podcast is me talking to myself because it works for me. It's great for reflecting. But I think that all of those end up helping you to write, or as we know, some authors have taken their blogs and that has become their books. Mm-hmm. So I just wondered for you, which one came first?
I might give you a long answer.
That's totally fine, because more you, less me talking is never a bad thing.
So I wasn't a very good student growing up, which is amazing that I'm in education and as an assistant principal. So that being said, I had kind of a mindset that I wasn't very good at writing based on the grades I received and the comments that teachers provided to me as far as feedback. And so I kind of had that stuck in my head. And so it wasn't until I met Todd Neslony, who actually asked for me to write a blog on Kids Deserve It's website. At the time, I laughed because I was like, well, one, I don't think I have anything to say. I'm nobody. That was my mindset. And plus I didn't enjoy writing because I thought I was a terrible writer. And because of him kind of nudging me and giving me some positive feedback on what I had to offer, I took him up on that. And there was some good feedback that I got from other educators. And so because of that, it kind of gave me a confident boost to write some more, and had some more Twitter reactions and things from other blog posts that I had posted. And so then that kind of led into, okay, how can I provide content that's going to be useful for other educators and specifically aspiring leaders, because that's a passion of mine. And that's where, talking with Todd again, kind of landed on the podcast, which is Aspire, the Leadership Development Podcast. So that kind of led to the podcast, which then not wanting to stop there, I kind of said, okay, I have a goal. It's a challenge that I want to provide to myself. I've had this block for a long time, and I want to prove that I can create a book that hopefully is helpful to other educators out there. So again, that's probably my long story, but it was more to prove to myself that I could do something that for a very long time I doubted myself in.
I love hearing that. And the one of the first things that you said that struck me that I've heard said so often is that you were a terrible student and that you're in education and an assistant principal. And I've heard that. I have a lot of friends that are in administrator positions that said the exact same thing. And a few of them work with, oh goodness, I can't even think of what the programs are now, but like a couple of them are working in like prisons now. Like they've transitioned from like the school, like our schools to other work. And they've said the same things. And then even with the writing, like, I don't know that I'm a good writer now, let alone years ago.
You
but
are.
I can assure you are.
No,
You are.
but it takes you like taking that risk and like, and sometimes just having somebody to kind of say, hey, write for me. Like you said, well, Todd, for me, it was Survey Monkey. Say, it's okay. First blog that I wrote, but that was, like I said the same thing, like, what am I going to write about? And it was just my experience. And even if it just helps one person, like that gives you the start, it also gives them something to kind of like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. And then maybe they want to start writing or something. So I love hearing those kind of things. Cause I thought the same thing, like, what am I going to write about? What am I going to talk about? Long time no see, Mel.
Well, right. It's nice to see you, Mel. Yes. Yes, of course. Famous people. Yeah. Okay. So Joshua, tell us, like, what are some of the I really like your story, and like Rachelle, this is not uncommon for a lot of amazing educators who are really able to reach into the lives of their students. But what are some of the characteristics that you had in mind? Because I think you started as a graphic artist, right?
Yeah.
That's how you started. And then you went into education. What are some of those things you kept in mind to make sure that you were going to have better relationships with your students?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Because of my past and negative and positive, I should say, aspects of education. So I had a lot of negative experiences. I shared that, and I really disliked education as a whole. I just thought it was pointless growing up. But I had a wonderful art teacher that really inspired me. She saw the best in me and pulled those out. And it really was about the relationship. And I remember sitting in class one day, and she was just really nurturing this child that was just a terror in the class. He was having a lot of behavior issues, and she worked so amazing with the student. And I just sat there like, why does she do this every day? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, I would never want her job. But after several years of being in her class and just longing to be in that setting, that creative space, I wanted to do art long term. And so that's where, I went to college. By the grace of God, I got in and stayed in, graduated in 4 years, and then became a graphic designer. The economy crashed, and so I had to look elsewhere. And so my wife, being the wise woman that she is, she was like, well, what do you love? Like, if there's anything that you could go into. And I was like, well, I love sports, which you both can see, and I love art. And so I landed on being an art teacher and a coach. So I try to meld those two worlds together, and got a chance to do that in Texas. And so all that being said is, like, I wanted to be what I had and didn't have in education, and that stemmed from relationships. And so I really wanted to take all of those amazing characteristics that my art teacher had and to present that in my own class. And I knew that every student in my class was not going to be a professional artist, but I wanted them to at least want to run in the door instead of running out. And so often that's how I felt as a student. And I just never wanted that for any of my kids that, experienced my class, my teaching, my environment.
Right. And I loved my art teacher as well. Like, I never considered myself much of an artist, but I remember feeling like my art teacher in middle school was able to pull out of me things I didn't even know. And for a while, I really did feel like an artist. I mean, it was temporary because I don't feel like an artist now, but she was amazing, and I'm sure you were too.
I was going to say, can I tell you about my art teacher?
Please.
I actually wrote about it in one of the books. 9th grade, like art all through elementary school, like whatever. I wasn't very good, but I tried and I really enjoyed it. And then went to new school, 9th grade. And I was so excited because like the school had on display, like my school has this too, like just different works of art. And I think schools tend to do at certain grade levels, like you have the black and white or, the shadows or animals or whatever. And so the second day of school, we had to draw using like one color and then do various shades of it. So you had to pick an animal. I picked a bear. I drew the bear. And my art teacher looked at it, and I thought it was pretty good. She actually wrote in red pen on it, like, how does the bear breathe? Because apparently it didn't have nostrils or something. I don't know. But she said, I don't know that you're going to do very well in here this year, but you can try. I was like, okay. So
Dang.
that stuck with me for like my entire, I mean, that was in 9th grade. That stuck with me for a really long time, because a teacher saying that, like, it defeats you, right? And so for years, even as a teacher in my classroom, I teach Spanish, I would draw a stick figure, something on the board. Or I try to illustrate something. I'd say, I'm not an artist. I can't do it. And I loved sketchnoting. And I remember Carrie Bauckham at Summer Spark conference. I went to one of her sessions, and I said, oh gosh, I wish I could teach my students to do this, but there's no way that I'm drawing in front of them. And then I thought, you know what, I need to get over this. So I started to teach my students to sketchnote, and just embrace the fact, like, yeah, you know what, I am not the greatest, but that always stuck with me. So listening to your experiences with art teachers, you know, and she could have just been joking, but me, you know, new school, new experience.
Sure.
Like, it stuck with me all these years. Now I'm laughing about it now, but I still have that picture of that bear. And I show my parents, I'm like, who writes? Like, how does the bear breathe? I'm like, it has a mouth. So I don't know.
She wasn't joking. Like, you don't joke with red ink, you know, which is one of the reasons why I hate red ink.
A lot of red ink on it. That's why I've never used red ink.
How does a bear breathe on paper that you've written, you know, that you've drawn? Who knows? You know, there's a lot of ambiguity there. I don't know. But that kind of makes me think, you know, a lot of our friends are going back to school. Josh, you're in North Texas. A lot of my friends in North Texas, their first day back with students was today. So this is kind of a natural segue of, like, what do you think that some of the things we should be really concentrating, or, you know, as teachers and educators and leaders for this year coming in? The pandemic is still going on, but we're kind of used to it now. We're just trying to live around it. What do you guys think for back to school? What do you like to say?
Well, I think last year was just survival. So I think we're kind of still in that state. I mean, Texas has put down a lot of legislation and laws about, you know, how we're going to catch students up. I don't want to go down that pathway because I might be here for another hour, but I think for an administrator like myself, like, our main focus is just how can we provide grace still to our teachers and to our students. Obviously, there's been a lot of trauma with our kiddos and with our staff members. It's been a tough year. I don't know about your areas, but like, there was a lot of loss with lives, and because of the pandemic, and students not being able to leave their house for a long period of time, and the socialization that goes along with that. So I think our mindset just needs to be like, we have to be understanding that it's been a really, really tough over a year, you know, almost a year and a half. So, you know, how are we going to reintegrate the students into the schools and the teachers? Because now we've got a full school where we didn't last year. Students haven't been in the classroom in large groups. There's going to be anxiety and some other behaviors and triggers that may be occurring in the classroom that we aren't used to and haven't seen in a while. So, you know, just having that scope when we first enter into the school at the beginning of the year, really hone in on building relationships and trying to have that as our baseline, you know, because if we don't have that as the year goes on and we do see behaviors, we're not really going to be able to help and teach the right thing, because if we don't have, I mean, you both know this, if we don't have a relationship, nothing's going to happen as far as learning or, you know, having established, you know, appropriate behavior in the classroom. So I think that's been our main focus as an admin team of, like, how are we going to implement that to our teachers, and how our teachers going to implement that to our students.
Sorry, Mel. I thought you were going to.
I'm typing up things. I'm sorry. I'm typing up. I am summarizing. I'm summarizing what Josh just said. And I didn't want you to hear my typing. I feel like you can hear my typing. I really, really like that. So I agree, like, focusing on grace. I mean, can we ever have enough? And I know that you wrote a blog post. It's not like, I mean, it's from 2019, but it's still relevant. I don't know that grace ever is irrelevant in any situation in life. And what are ways that, like, you feel like because you're an administrator, how do you feel like administrators can show grace to their teachers? And then how can teachers show grace to their students? What are some real examples that we should maybe focus on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for ourselves to teachers, like, obviously a lot of life things have happened. And so instead of being real sticklers about certain things, like what can we take off the plate? What can we provide? Especially like time is such a major thing. Talking about like mental health, it's great to talk about it and to provide PD for that. But then how are we allowing that to happen in our teachers' lives? Are we providing time, or are we just expecting them to be working 24/7 and then having to be in one more meeting to learn about mental health, which they can't actually practice? And so making sure that we're just being mindful of providing for the needs of our teachers. And, we talk about love languages, right? Everyone receives things differently. So someone might love getting a soda, let's say, but another one may enjoy words of encouragement more so, and trying to know our staffs, just like teachers do with their student. Like, what is the best way to show praise to our teachers, because they're working so hard, especially last year. They didn't get a chance to just shut off. They were on constant, especially with the online learning space, having to do tutorials at nighttime, and trying to work with parents when they got home or after their workday at home. So, just trying to love on our teachers and give them, if they miss a deadline, not harping on them, trying to figure out what the need is, and then trying to, give them the resources that they need to be successful. And hopefully by doing that with our teachers, we're modeling the teachers to do that, of course, with their students.
I love that you said that, because that's exactly what I think. When our admin is modeling it to us as teachers, we just feel that freedom, and it pumps us up, and we're able to put that into our students' lives as well. And I love that Mel said reestablishing community. Man, if ever there was a phrase right now, yes, because community is so important. And that's what I love about education is forming community in the first place. And Rachelle, you formed an amazing Thrive and Edu community. She has a question. I am super curious how our leadership are going to welcome us back on Wednesday. Yeah. I'm sure you're speaking for a lot of people, Mel.
Yeah. We're starting on a Thursday. So the only good thing about that is, we get 2 days to figure out what we're doing, what this new year looks like, get everyone acclimated to the campus, especially a lot of our new students. So like, for instance, our 7th graders, because I work in a middle school, a lot of them have never been in the building as 6th graders because they were at home. So
wow,
it's going to be like reintroducing 2 grade levels to the campus, where it's usually just the 6th graders. So the community piece is huge. I would say, like, for any educator listening, make sure that you find a community that's not just in your building, but outside that. You said that I was a part of the Teach Better team. They're a phenomenal entity, really, of community building. And so I have the pleasure of being the podcast manager, but I do a lot of other things with them, and they do a fantastic job of providing support wherever you are in education. So if you're looking for a community, that's a great place to look.
I don't think they sleep enough, though.
Oh, you're one to say anything.
No, but they do those like 12-hour like stretches. I mean, that's hard. That's very difficult to be. You need a lot of coffee for that, and but it's good. You're right. I mean, it's a great community because you have people that can join in anytime when they do those events, and just to hear like real conversations and to, like we do here. I mean, just when you can interact with Mel, who is in Colombia, totally away from where we are. But just to be in that space. And anyway, I would love to know, I wish I could do a survey for like a lot of different schools just to see, how was your first day back? Like the first day just for teachers, because I know when I was in Nashville last weekend, we met up with Stacey, Kelly, and Sydney, all teachers in Nashville, and their first day, like an admin day, was last Monday, and their first day with students was today. But they had like 4 days of preparing, and then they had off on Friday. So I'm hoping that like their first day was like something fun and, like low key, to focus, not just like dive right into, for anybody, for like state mandated and all of this stuff, because who knows what this year is going to bring. I mean, starting in person, or things are going to change, and the amount of stress, I don't know. So we'll see.
And I know, and I got to say, we're about to do our family feud in a minute, but we're talking about things that are so current. Tell us a little bit about your AI COVID contest that you're involved in, Rachelle.
Yeah, that was a great segue too, because we're talking about like the impact of COVID in our teaching in our year. You're like, oh, by the way, there's this COVID contest. That was not planned.
I know.
It worked out really well. Yeah, so AI World School, which is what I started to use last year with my students in my 8th grade STEAM class. And there's content there for students of all grade levels, ages, to learn about artificial intelligence, which, I mean, we're surrounded by it and using it every single day. But they have this contest that's free to enter, and it can be students or teachers, and they extended the entry deadline. And so if you go to aiworldschool.com, you can find out, and they have it in different grade bands, like I think grades three through 5, if I could say it, 6 to 8, 9 to 12, and then teachers can do it. And there's prizes, but you can also choose to enter the contest by coding or doing it without coding, which is kind of cool too. So something, if anybody's interested in like, I wonder about artificial intelligence, like check out the AI COVID Warrior contest.
Oh, that's right. It's the Warrior. Dang it. I COVID Warrior contest. I left that out. All right. I don't know if that puts you in the spirit of wanting to play, but we are, before we say goodbye, we will have
contest.
I flub. This is live. This is what happens when you go live. But let's have a little Family Feud fun before we say goodbye. Are you both ready? And Josh, are you familiar with Family Feud?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. Good answer. And okay. All right. I'll have grace. I'll have a little bit of grace on you guys. Okay, here we go. Yes. Actually, I probably won't have any grace on you, to be honest, when it comes to Family Feud. I found some Family Feud questions that are for family. So these aren't, I don't know necessarily as hysterical as some of them, but name a sport where, this is for you, Josh, name a sport where it would look silly to wear a helmet.
Golf.
Definitely. But that is not on here.
Oh.
That's great.
Swimming.
Oh, that is such a good answer, but it's not on here. Let's see what is Marianne watching. Tennis is on there. Way to go, because we're almost. Yeah, tennis. Oh no,
basketball.
You were right. Water actually was on there. It doesn't say swimming, just water. So I will take away my X. But no, volleyball. These are all good answers. But no. And some of these are really terrible answers that they have on there. And I said helmet. Yes. I'm going to say yes. This is great, because if I read you the answers, I will have to. Never mind. I don't even. Here we go. So next question. Good job. Good answers, everybody.
Winning.
Okay, it was a good question. The answers are a little bit bizarre. No, I failed on this one. Name something a teenager will not leave the house without.
Phone.
Yes,
that is number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah, that's phone is number.
I'm stumped. How about gum? Gum, mix, candy, snacks, any of those.
What? Actually, those are kind of good answers, but no. And I think you just completely struck out on the whole thing. Number 1 is
that was
money.
All one. Purse.
Money.
No, got it.
Purse would have worked. Purse. Yeah. Oh, did she get it? Rachelle, you're going to have to pull up the answers. What? Because I can't see the screen. So if somebody comments, you pull up the answers and I'll read the questions. Now that we're like a true, like we got full control. I love this. Okay. Next question. These are, I got to pick a better question here. Oh my goodness. Name the best food to go out on a Friday night.
You mean,
or for summer break?
The best food to go out to eat on a Friday night?
If you're going to go out to eat on a Friday night, what do you crave?
This isn't necessarily what I crave, because I would say salad, and that's probably not on there. I'm going to go pizza.
Burger.
Pizza burger.
Salad, but it is pizza.
I didn't give the answer salad. I said I'm not going to give my answer of salad. I'm going to go with pizza, because I know salad wouldn't be on there.
I must be doing something wrong. I pulled up all of these answers, or these questions. The pizza's on there, but then also hay rides are too. So I don't understand like where this is really boggling my mind. But there's still a few choices. Hamburger is a great answer. It's not on there.
What's Mel say? She's usually right.
Italian.
Is she saying anything?
She said Italian.
It's not on there. Yeah, Chinese is on there, and so is steak. And then
I was
hay
gonna
rice.
say
So I
steak.
don't know.
I should have guessed steak.
Ice cream.
I would have said steak, honestly. Yeah, we're moving on, but nice try. Okay, this is really good. This is a very educator directed question, and it has decent answers. Okay, name something you read every day without fail. Every day you read this without fail.
Bible.
Yes, that's number 3.
All right, I'm on the list.
Okay, newspaper.
Newspaper. It is, yes, it is the paper horoscope. Yes. Hey, sweetie.
Oh, I was gonna say horoscope, but I guess that's fair. Hey, Win.
Yeah. Hey, you want to say hi? Okay.
Comics.
Okay. We'll talk in just a second. Just
You said book.
that kind of goes with the paper.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
The weather.
These-
Does that go?
There's
with
1,
paper?
2, 3, 4. That goes with the paper.
Book.
Yeah. Think about when you leave your house. Do you guys ever leave your house?
No.
No.
Do you ever drive in a car? Do you ever drive in a car?
Map.
Okay, hold on.
Are we,
Hold on.
do we
How
read?
old-
Oh,
Or-
Getting closer. Okay, map is not on there.
directions.
Okay.
Instructions.
And on street signs is number 1. I don't know why it's number 1, but somebody made it number 1. Yeah, and I'm in the Bible is 3. And
right.
think about in the morning. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you a hint. In the morning, did you guys ever do this when you were?
I thought you said a book though.
Cookbook.
It says name something you read every day without fail. You thought
I
book.
thought book. Okay. Oh goodness.
I give up.
Sorry, I miscommunicated that. You want me to tell you what you probably read every day without fail?
Mm-hmm.
Labels.
Okay. Labels, yes, on the cereal box. That's number 2. So number 1 was street signs. Number 2 was the cereal box. Number 3 was the Bible/book. Then we got a magazine, the mail, and then last is paper/horoscope.
Oh, the mail. I just get junk mail, so I don't tend to read it. Although I did get a book today, so I know. Oh well.
Right. Do you want me to give you any more? Are these terrible questions? I feel like such a failure in the Family Feud.
It's okay. Mel said that.
What did she say? Now I'm on this.
Oh, she's
yes.
laughing.
Yes. Well, thanks for hanging with it. This was not my greatest Family Feud moment. It is ice cream sandwich day. Yes, that is what I'm going to do. I am for surely going to do that at the end of the day. And after I think everybody deserves an ice cream sandwich. And I'm going to, Josh, thank you so much for joining us today and hanging with us and playing Family Feud, even though I picked terrible questions.
It was the joy of my day. Trust me. I needed this.
Good. Are there any last words you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, I just hope everyone that's listening or watching is having a great end of their summer and is getting time to rest and rejuvenate for the upcoming school year. Because as we all know, it's going to be probably a more challenging year, just like it was last year. But we can definitely do it. And I definitely have hope that we're going to come out on the other end much stronger. That's for sure.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yes, because we're fighters. Totally. Well, everyone, we will see you again. Actually, Rachelle will have another co-host on a week from today. So we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.